I was like, girl, you was calling this lady out for sleeping with Cameron every chance you got. So how did you think you were cool, Sherese? And what way did you think y'all were cool? See, I don't like when Sherese do that little mind trick stuff like she was so innocent and she not. I just not here for that. And for me, when it comes to Zadya and Sherese, it's the bully calling the other bully a bully. That's what it is. Yeah, both of y'all are big old mean bullies and you deserve each other. Anywho. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brandy Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl, Brandy Yvonne. Here on my channel, we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows, y'all. It's Friday night, so we gotta talk about OWN's Ready to Live, Make a Move, y'all. Season 1, episode 11, I believe it was titled Beginning of the End. Before we get into it, y'all, please hit that thumbs up button. It helps push the video through the algorithms. Also, continue to subscribe to the channel, y'all. I think we're less than 25 subscribers away from reaching our next goal. So I need y'all to come through. Y'all been showing up and showing out. Check out my other content. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this episode and share this video where you'd like to share your content. Also, if you're a Married at First Sight fan, I posted the review for that. I think I posted it Wednesday night, I want to say. Or Thursday morning. It was one of them. Anywho. Also, if you're a Real Housewives of Potomac fan, I put a short up about that last night. We talked about Robin real quick. So check out that short. It's a short, so it's only going to take a minute of your time to watch. Okay? Anyway, let's get into this episode. Let me know what y'all thought of the episode. It was decent. It was getting very much filler. We see next week, I guess, is the season finale. And I guess the reunion is the same night. Is that what y'all got from that? It looks like the reunion is going to be the same night as the finale next week. And the ladies are going to make their ultimate decision to make a move or not. So anyway, y'all let me know y'all predictions on who's going to stay with who. But also the new season of Ready to Love, I believe, is coming back in January, and they are still down in Dallas, unfortunately. Okay, but let's get into this review. Side note, if y'all noticed that the studio is looking different, it's because I'm in my room. I'm on location. Okay, my sister's here, and I didn't want to make her leave the living room, so or go back to her spare room, to her room. So I was like, I'll be nice and won't put her out. And I came to my room anyway. But it's comfy sitting on my bed. Let's get into this review. Anywho, so Tamika is talking to the ladies and she's letting them know, like, the next steps of the process. But first, she wants to check in on the ladies and see how they're doing. I'm sure the producers told her that Sharese and Zadia were cutting up last week. So she needed to check in, okay? So Zadia said, she's been silent for a minute. And, she's been dealing with hell in this house from people, specifically Sherese. Sherese told her she ain't nothing. She ain't gonna ever be nothing. And she didn't say all this stuff about her. And Zadia's confession, Zadia said that Sherese is trying to walk around here like she's a perfect angel, but she is a devil, acting like a devil. Okay, so Tamika's like, thank you, Zadia, for sharing your truth. Okay, and Sherese, like, want to give you a chance to speak. Sherese is like, first of all, I didn't say any of those things. Like, do you think she hasn't called me a bitch? Either Tamika, you think she hasn't called me a bitch? And she was like, I thought we were cool. And Zadia was like, how could you think we were cool? She's like, well, everybody thought we were cool. I was like, girl, you was calling this lady out for sleeping with Cameron every chance you got. So how did you think you were cool, Sherese? And what way did you think y'all were cool? See, I don't like when Sherese do that little mind trick stuff like she was so innocent and she not. I just not here for that. And for me, when it comes to Zadya and Sherese, it's the bully calling the other bully a bully. That's what it is. Yeah, both of y'all are big old mean bullies and you deserve each other. Anywho, so the girls start going back and forth. This bleep, bleep, bleep. You F bleep. You F this. You kiss this. Blah, 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 blah. They're going back and forth. Tamika's like, okay, Sherese, it's good to hear your point, girl. At the end of the day, we don't need to be going back and forth. It's stressful. You're away from home. We trying to find our means. Girl, it ain't all that. Sherese said, she never said that Zadya wasn't going to be nothing. She never said all that. And in her confessional, she's like, I can't believe Zadya is doing all this and just you want to do this because it's fine. You slept with Cameron. That's what it is. You don't want to admit it. And then you trying to put some on me and say I was kissing people in the house and I wasn't. Girl, clearly you were, Sherese. Clearly you were kissing somebody in the house. And why do you keep trying to out Zadia's business? We all know Zadya was playing around with Cameron in the late night hours. Because why else was you coming back at 6 in the morning? Talking all night. Girl, we know. But you ain't got to keep putting the girl on Front Street. Let it go, Sharese. Let it go, girl. Anywho, so Tamika basically explains to them the next parts of the process. So the men are going to come for their mixer like they always do. And they're going to decide to keep their keepers or move in another direction. Now, if they would have chosen to move in another direction, I wonder would the process have ended for them right there, because there's no more blind dates and I don't think they can start over at this point. So I already knew everybody's going to keep the keepers, and then Tamika let them know the following week they will ultimately decide what's the decision they want to make. So we see the men all come. Maurice, Cameron, Tamari, and Donald. So, even though Cameron keeps telling Zadia he ain't got the time for her, she decided to still keep him around. Verneesha said with Tamari, she wants to make sure that he is remaining consistent. Like when they're in front of each other is good, but his communication is not good, and she don't want to move there for lack of communication. But she decided to keep Tamari around. Ashley and Donald had the most suspense because Ashley is like, Donald asked about, I don't know if Ashley asked or Donald asked about the other day and the date with the friend, and Donald did say he does apologize. So Ashley's thing is she don't want a man that's not going to stand up for her or ride for her, which I totally get. Although Kristen wasn't going to do that for you either, Ashley girl. So anywho, Donald said he apologized for not speaking up. He didn't know what was going on in the moment, and his friend Lakeisha apologized as well and told Donald to tell Ashley she was sorry. Do y'all think she really did, or Donald just say that? I don't know. Said that, I mean. Anywho, he did apologize to Ashley in the moment, and they made it all suspenseful, like she couldn't decide what to do. And ultimately, she decided to keep Donald around. She wanted to give it another chance. They decided to wipe the slate clean and just move forward, not worry about each other's past and all that. This is not going to work. I don't see no possibility. Actually, the only relationship I see that has potential here is Sharese and Maurice, okay? Now, speaking of Sharese and Maurice, she decides, she's talking to him about make sure he's there for the right reasons, him not switching it up on her. Ultimately, she decides to keep Maurice as well. Sharese, you better go on and make it work with Maurice. I see that working out. I don't know what else Sharese can do at this point. Not to say she couldn't do better against somebody else, but right now, to me, it's working. So why not, why break it if it's working, Anywho, so then Tamika comes, she dismisses the men, they trying to tuck the girls in, y'all got to go home. I'm sure they be staying for the after party, right? So Tamika lets the men know this week the dates are up to you. This is your last chance to prove to the ladies you really want to be here. Basically y'all got to figure out y'all dates, and this is the last hoorah. So the men go home, and we see the ladies all go on individual dates the next day or whatever. So we see Verneesha and Tamari. Tamari decides to take Verneesha around the city. He said, we did all this dating, but, you never got to see how New Orleans really is. So he took her on a tour of New Orleans, right? Which was really cool looking. And he says New Orleans is very sexy. It's not trying to be anything with itself. Verneesha's like, oh yeah, kind of like me. And so Verneesha had a good time with him. She said that, she could see things working out with him. She told him that she really liked meeting his mom, and that meant a lot to her and all that. So then later on, we see them go sit down at a restaurant, and I think they had some kind of fries or something, some loaded fries and something else. The food looked amazing. And he was talking about the streets with the Mardi Gras beads and all that. And so I might go to Mardi Gras, y'all, side note. So if y'all end up going to Mardi Gras, let me know, and we can all meet up or connect to do something, okay? I'm sure there'll be a lot of y'all out there too. So anywho, I'll let y'all know closer if I decide to go or not. I haven't decided yet. But, cause I'm gonna take days off from work. Y'all know how to go. So anywho, they were talking and vibing, and they seem like they're gonna try to make things work, right? And so, I believe it was in this moment Verneesha was talking about the communication stuff with him, and they said they're gonna try to keep moving forward and doing the process. And he is doing a little bit better on his communication, but Verneesha, of course, she want a little bit more. I still don't think, like, Verneesha was laughing and enjoying herself this time. She seemed to let her guard down with him a little bit more, but I still don't think she likes him like that. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. So then, let me see. Then they start talking about ketchup and ranch. Verneesha wanted ranch in her fries. He wanted ketchup. I'm not a big ketchup eater either. Like, I used to eat ketchup when I was a kid, but now I feel like ketchup is just, like, what's the point? It's a useless condiment. Like, yeah, give me some ranch. So then he's like, okay, let me see. Do you be putting sugar on your grits? And she said, yes. I was very shocked that Verneesha put sugar on her grits. Now, I used to put sugar on my grits as well growing up because that's all I knew. But then when I started having like shrimp and grits and really good grits with like butter and salt and pepper, then I was like, okay, I don't need the sugar. It just depends on the texture, okay? So then we also see Ashley go on a date with Donald, right? So Ashley and Donald go on this date where they have to do the zip lining over this alligator pond. The guy's like, you gonna go through 7 courses, and he shows her an alligator. Oh, but it's gonna be alligators 10 foot bigger than this one, and that's the pond you're gonna be going over. Now Ashley's scared of heights. She's like, no, she ain't doing this. Now if it was me, I would not have done it because I'm terrified of heights, and that is a fear I do want to face. But that what they was doing, I don't know. I've done zip lining, but it was like the thing when you're sitting in the bicycle doing it and you're kind of enclosed in something, so I was okay with that. But that's the best I can do with the zip lining. Like, let's just sit down and have a cocktail, really. We ain't got to be all up in the sky over the ponds with alligators. No, ma'am. So Ashley was scared. She was going up the stairs. She's like, I can't do it. You know how she dramatic, y'all. So he was bigging her up like, come on. You're going to just cross this line. You're going to slide across into a DM. The DM's on the other side. And that motivated her to slide on the zip line. So she did it. She said, you got to take me out to eat after this. And so, it all worked out in the end. They did the zip lining. I can't remember if they showed them going out to eat after that or not. I feel like they did. I don't remember what they talked about, if they did, though. Like I said, the episode wasn't really giving what it needed to be gave, in my opinion. So then we see Maurice and Sherese. I'm going to save Zadia for the end. So we see Maurice and Sherese go horseback riding. Now, Maurice was struggling with the horse. Sherese said she ain't new to this. She true to that horseback riding. So she said, she could tell Maurice was having a hard time with it. When they got done, I like that day, how they were both wearing their jeans and their little white shirts. That was cute. So when they got done, Maurice had like a picnic set, or production had a picnic set up for them, and it had her name and rose petals. And she was just like, oh, I feel like he really does adore me. I feel like warm and fuzzy. Like, she just felt so special, And I'm like, oh, get your man, Sherese. We ain't mad at it. So they sat down, and she said, she's really stressed out because she has this hard decision to make. And so he was like, oh, it's an easy decision. Like, we're really hitting it off. We're doing well. Like, what's the problem? And she was like, it's just really hard because, like, your business is here in New Orleans. My business is in Miami. Like, I don't know how that's going to work. And she touched on that in the beginning of the episode when they were at the mixer, right? And just how things will really work and the whole long distance thing. And she said her last few relationships were long distance, and she remembers how those went. So she starts breaking down. She said she misses her mom, she misses her dog, and Maurice did a really good job of comforting her. And he already called her babe instead and said, babe, it's gonna be okay. And he's like, you don't have to decide right now, and we're still in the process. And he was like, we don't have to have all the answers right now. And he's like, I wouldn't, ask you to do that. And he's like basically reassuring her, like, everything's going to be okay. He said, we're going to take everything a step at a time and figure it out as we go. And she said, I just don't want you to switch it up on me. Like, I would hate, like, if I did, I left everything behind in Miami and moved to New Orleans, and then you switched it up on me. So I feel like what Sherese was saying in that moment is like, please don't break my heart. Like, don't have me moving down to New Orleans and then you about to be acting different, And I feel like this episode was the most, with Maurice, this part with Maurice only, was the most vulnerable we've seen Sherese ever be, really. And she really cried and got emotional and everything. So I kind of was like, I feel for Sherese. Hopefully Maurice is not going to switch it up. He seems genuine enough. I don't think he would switch it up, but let me know what y'all think in the comments. So he comforted her. And my thing though is Sherese's business. She does the facials and everything. What is it called? An esthetician, I think it's called. I don't know how well that business would do in New Orleans. That's my only concern, is how well would that business do in New Orleans. So I feel like he would do better moving to Miami to continue his law practice. But then I don't know, if he doesn't have a Florida State bar, that is not gonna work either unless he could work remote. So I feel like maybe he should move there if he could work remote and fly back and forth. Like, I don't know. I feel like whoever it would be easier for should be doing the moving, in my opinion, when it comes to them two. So anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think though. So then we got Zadia and Cam. Now Cameron is taking pictures of Zadya. Oh, side note, the ladies are in the confessionals talking about, I guess I didn't hear what the question was, but I guess what they wanted in the future. If Ashley wants a white picket fence, Zadya wants a man to like take over so she don't have to do stuff, you know. So anyway, we see Zadia and Cam. Cameron is taking pictures of Zadya because, you know, that's his little side hustle, photography. The pictures look cute. So they sit down to eat. Zadya says, you know, she has this decision to make, and she don't really know what she about to do. And she said, you know, she's letting Cam know she only has a few more days left in New Orleans. And she was like, oh, I don't even know what I'm going to do. So he's like, okay, how do you feel about that? She's like, well, I want to ask you, how do you feel about that? She turned it on him, y'all. And so he was like, you know, I think, you know, things going good, you know, but like I said, you know, I'm trying to build my business. I really don't have the time. So I don't know how like the long distance thing would really go. And I'm feeling like at this point, you know, we can like keep in touch, but not make it too serious if we're going to be doing long distance. So she's like, keep in touch. Like, what you mean? And she's like, hey, friend. And so he was like, yeah, it could be that, more or less. Like, just keep the communication open, but like not lock it down too serious. So she not liking what she hearing. I'm like, Zadya, how many ways can this man tell you that he not about to make the time for you? How many ways can he reject you? So I feel like this was the most clear he has ever been. And so then she asked him, okay, like, let me ask you something. Like, basically she said, do you want me? I forgot how she worded it. Basically she was like, okay, well, do you want me? So he was like, I think. And then he was like, I don't know. To be honest with you, I can't tell you that right now. I don't really know. He basically said no, y'all. Okay. And I was like, Zadya, you got your answer, girl. You got your answer. Like, what else do you want him to say, girl? Like, really, what else do you want him to say? So, then she said in her confessional, it's like her heart is telling her she needs to run. Her mind is saying she needs to think things through. Like, girl, just move on, Zadia. Let him go, girl. So he was like, well, let me ask you a question. Like, would you rather me, like, you know, like, basically, like, not be honest with you and give you all these expectations that are not real and not show up? Or would you rather me give you real expectations and continue to show up? And so she was like, no, I want you to continue to be honest with me and everything. And then he's like, okay, I just wanted to make sure because I wouldn't want to, like, I don't want to not tell you what's really going on and not be truthful for you. I feel like this was at least the most honest answer we got and the straight answer we got out of him. I don't know what else Zadia wants to hear. So she said she basically needs to think about everything he said and make a decision based on that. But they did like a live or something together, I think, so a week or two ago. So I guess they still in communication. I hope Zadia ain't waiting around for Cameron. Y'all let me know about this Zadia and Cameron thing, what y'all thinking. So, at the end of the episode, the ladies come back together and Tamika just kind of debriefs with the ladies on how their dates went. And, Verneesha, again, talks about the whole Tamari thing with him. You know, she wants to make sure, like, you know, he is having good communication, because if he's not having good communication now, then when you try to get long distance, it's only going to be worse. Tamika tells her, like, clearly communicate what you need from him. Sherese talks about her situation with Maurice and how, you know, she is scared to go for it, but she wants to go for it. Ashley feels like, you know, if he's opening it up more, like, continue to, you know, just trust the process and get to know him more. Verneesha feels like Maurice is a good dude. They asked Zadya. Zadya was quiet the whole time. They asked her in the confessional if she had anything to say about Maurice and Sherese. She was crickets, okay? I knew she wasn't going to talk after they got into it. Zadia talks about Cameron and how she's just, it's just confusion with him, and she don't really know. And Tamika's like, you need to be very clear in him about what you want and all that stuff. So Ashley in the confessional talking about she really likes Cam. Talking about somebody, she said he's just, a hard-working man, but whatever else he got going on, he need to put that to the side and, like, focus on Zadia, which he does. But he's saying he's not about to do it. So what are we saying? He clearly said he's not about to put his work aside for Zadia. So what else do we need to hear, ladies? Like, women, we sometimes just want to hear what we want to hear. Like, I definitely have been guilty of that, but we got to, like, start really listening here. So, anywho, then Ashley talked about her date with Donald and how she saw a new side of him because they did the zip lining. I don't know how that shows a new side of him, whatever. He had on that Tide bucket hat that I'm tired of seeing from 2001, but I guess if that's him trying for Ashley, that's him trying for Ashley. She said she could really see this, working out and how they decided to put their differences aside and move forward and all that. So she said she's willing to see, like, this may potentially work out to be something, right? And because, Tamika's asking her about what hesitations she had and all that. And so Ashley says she still was feeling unsure, but she's willing to give it a chance. Girl, you don't like that man. She waiting on Kristen to still come back. So Tamika lets ladies know that, okay, next week you have your final mixer where you're going to decide to ultimately make a move. You need to let the men decide if you're keeping them, and you need to let them know, are you making a move to New Orleans, or is it going to be them making a move to you, or is it going to be somewhere in the middle? Now, mind you, in the beginning of this show, they never said we had all these options, right? But now they can decide how this relationship is going to work. It doesn't have to be them moving to New Orleans, which I already knew they weren't going to be uprooting their lives to New Orleans anyway. So we see some previews for next week. And we'll also see a preview with the reunion. Was that Tanika Ray hosting? I was like, oh, no. But the girl's going to get into it. Looks like I said, the reunion is coming on after the final episode. So we will be back Friday night for that, y'all. And then we got Love and Marriage Huntsville coming up tomorrow. I'll do it Sunday at the latest. I do have something to do tomorrow. And we got Christmas coming. Merry Christmas to y'all. Okay. And a Happy New Year. Just hope y'all being safe. Y'all enjoying yourself. Don't spend too much money if you got it to spend. Anyway, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll talk to y'all again soon. Bye.